Hi, I'm Robin Parker, Deputy News Editor for Broadcast. I've come to Channel 4 to meet Chief Executive Andy Duncan. It's a crucial time for Channel 4, fresh from Oscar success for Slumdog Millionaire and having been crowned Channel of the Year at the Broadcast Awards. It now faces questions about its future. Its response to Stephen Carter's Digital Britain review is due in this week, which will involve a tie-up with BBC Worldwide, and he also has some strong opinions about the kind of radical thinking he wants the BBC to bring to the table. This week sees the deadline for the first responses to Stephen Carter's Digital Britain review. Can you update us on what sort of position you're reaching at this stage with BBC Worldwide?
Well, I think we're excited about the potential of partnership around BBC Worldwide. I think the strategic and philosophical logic is very strong. We're both public organisations who are about maximising income to then reinvest back into British content for the benefit of the public. We're not about maximising income to go back to a shareholder and disappear out the system. That's a good starting point. I think it's one of the reasons why Andy Burnham mentioned it in his speech earlier in the year. And we've come a long way in the last 2 months. I'd say there's a positive direction of travel with BBC Worldwide. We've been in regular meetings with John Smith and his team, and it's coming together in a very good way. I do think it's got some way to go. I think in the coming weeks and months we need to see that partnership develop more. But I think it's emerging as a very exciting idea, and we've obviously, for some time now, said that it's very much a preferred partnership route for us.
Given the current disparity between the licence fee and commercial broadcasters' revenues, what sort of radical thinking do you want from the BBC?
No, look, clearly this is a moment, I think, for radical thinking. And in particular, I think the BBC, while the direction of travel about being a better partner is welcome, the distance that they've offered so far is inadequate. A very simple idea that I think could be a very practical way of helping a number of people would be if the BBC stopped buying US acquisitions. For me, it seems madness in the world we're now in, with the licence fee being £500 million, maybe £1 billion more next year than the entire TV commercial marketplace. Why do they spend a penny in Hollywood? It's just not worth it. All those programmes would otherwise get to the British public on 4 branded channels, ITV5, perhaps Sky or Virgin, anyway. And we're in a situation at the moment where BBC Three is outbidding E4 for a programme. That's mad. And if you think about the benefits, you could either say that money gets reinvested by the BBC in British content, or they could fill those slots with repeats of high-quality programmes that people want to watch and use that money to partner more effectively with the rest of the industry, or frankly, give the money back to a licence fee payer. In any of those scenarios, prices for everyone else will drop, which in turn means acquisitions become more profitable for us, which in turn means we can invest more money in British content. So in the particular case of BBC Three and E4, why take that public money, outbid E4, deny E4 the ability to earn profits that can be reinvested back in to create programmes like Skins or In-Betweeners or Phone Jack or award-winning programming. So I absolutely think that the moment for the BBC to pull out completely from acquisitions is here.
You recently described 4IP as an example of the kind of radical thinking you'd want for the industry. Can you explain to us just what it does bring to the table?
I think 4IP will turn out in 5 years' time, 10 years' time to have been one of the most significant things that's been launched into the British media place in 2008, 2009. I think it's a very important future-facing idea, all about public service content online delivered through partnerships, and it could become as radical once it grows as the original setting up of Channel 4 and the indie sector in 1982. We've already got some really exciting projects. School of Everything, which is effectively an informal learning website where would-be teachers and pupils can be joined together. It's a very exciting project. We've taken an equity stake in that. We're facilitating that. There are other very interesting projects. For example, we've helped facilitate Take Modern Online, projects around news, democracy, computer games, through to more entertainment. And also, it's not just about the creative cultural side of this, it's also about the economic benefits. So this is about hubs throughout Britain. Our key partners already are Birmingham, Sheffield in Yorkshire. We're looking into Scotland, Wales, potentially Northern Ireland, other parts of Britain. And one of the key things is most of our partnerships are with economic development agencies. They're really interested in developing their digital infrastructure, startup businesses, local digital businesses. And so I think there's a really exciting economic benefit as well as a creative and cultural benefit. And I think it's very pioneering in terms of really looking at the sorts of projects on the web that have real public value to them. I think, look, one of the very interesting things, it is a pilot, obviously it only really got going at the start of this year, but I think one of the very interesting things is modelling different commercial models. So I think we'll end up with probably something similar to what we've seen in the television and film world, where sometimes you have websites and online ideas that actually can make really significant money, which is fantastic. Sometimes they might be able to cover their costs. In other cases, they may be loss-making, but they'll end up having a real public value where that might be justified. But one of the things we absolutely want to experiment with is different business models, and clearly where we can, we want them to make money, and that's a really important part of what's being experimented with, in my view.